All right, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and obviously the Titans are on a bye this week, so I've had the luxury. What is that? I've had the luxury of sitting here all day watching Red Zone, carefree, stress free, ain't got to worry about my team disappointing me today. So I'm just watching everybody else. The Bills disappointed me. I wanted them to beat Houston, they didn't do it. The incompetent coaching at the end of that game for Buffalo. What were they doing? Some Bills fans that are watching this, I want you to tell me what in the world the Bills were doing at the end of that game, not making the Texans use any of their timeouts from their own end zone, chunking up three deep balls. Couldn't even believe what I was seeing. Gifted that game to Houston on a silver platter, and now Houston's 4-1, and they will probably run away with the AFC South. But who knows? We got a long way to go. Speaking of the AFC South, Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Didn't know who to root for, but ultimately, there's nothing like seeing the Colts lose. I don't like the Jaguars. I don't like the Texans. But there's something about seeing the Colts lose that just helps the world to heal. And so the Colts lost. But how did the Colts go back to Anthony Richardson? How did the Colts go back? I get young quarterback. He needs to get the reps. Need to see what you've got. You drafted at number 4. Okay, yeah. Joe Flacco was balling today. We're not just talking about a guy who came in and threw for 100 yards and just, didn't turn the ball over, didn't do anything to lose the game. We're talking about a dude who threw for nearly 400 yards and, tore it up today. Titans got to play the Colts next week, and I'm hoping they go back to Richardson because I don't want no part of Joe Flacco at this point. The Colts lost, though. Let me say it again. The Colts lost. The Jaguars got their first win of the year. I am going to compliment Jacksonville. I'm going to give them 2 compliments, actually. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence played well today. Number 2, I like the throwback jerseys. I like the throwback jerseys for Jacksonville. Made me feel like it was back in the old days. Jaguars won, field goal at the end of the game. Ravens Bengals. We got to talk about that game. Going outside the AFC South. Ravens Bengals. Derrick Henry, man. Derrick Henry. I miss him. Oh, I miss him. Derrick Henry took off in overtime and set up the Ravens to win this game. Heck of a game. And the Bengals, I don't know what they're going to do to rebound from this, but I looked at their schedule, and I think the Bengals are going to be fine because I think they're going to win their next 5 games. Go look at the Bengals schedule and tell me they are not going to win their next 5 games in a row. But they lost today. The Ravens got a huge win, and now the Ravens are rolling. Derrick Henry. Oh, I miss him. I miss him so. Bengals fall to 1-4. The Browns. Deshaun Watson. Worst contract in the history of the NFL. Worst contract in the history of the NFL. What are they doing paying that guy that much? And to see what he's done, they're horrible. The Browns are horrible. And on the flip side of that, the team that they played today, the Washington Commanders, they look like one of the best teams in the league. Jaden Daniels, he never even messes up. Jaden Daniels just keeps on pressing through. He keeps on making great plays with his legs, keeps making great throws with his arms. He should have had another touchdown today. Terry McLaurin dropped that one that normally he would have caught. But the Commanders, they just killing everybody. Everybody that they play, they're whooping them. So the Commanders got a big win. The Browns look terrible. I predicted that the Browns would take a step back this year, and I was a prophet when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. They look terrible. The Jets and the Vikings played in London this morning, and Aaron Rodgers got banged up. I don't know, man. It looked like the Jets were headed in the right direction a couple of weeks ago. They beat the Titans. Shouldn't have lost that game. The Titans should not have lost to the Jets. But the Jets lost today. The Vikings are 5-0, man. The Vikings are 5-0. Who saw that coming? If you say you saw it coming, you're lying. But the Jets, they kind of look like they're a disaster right now. Speaking of a disaster, the New England Patriots. Oh, they look bad. The Dolphins look bad too, but the Dolphins were just, they were a better kind of bad today. And so the Dolphins got a win. I think the Dolphins are 2-3 now. Patriots fall to 1-4. Patriots don't look good at all. And the Carolina Panthers don't look good either. They got trounced by the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams looked good today. Bears looked better as a whole, but they were playing the Panthers. I know everybody got all excited when they went to Andy Dalton and they made that switch a couple of weeks ago and whatever, but tell me right now, are the Carolina Panthers any better off? Does anybody think Andy Dalton's going to take the Panthers to the playoffs? All you Titans fans wanting to make the swap to Mason Rudolph. Are the Carolina Panthers any better off right now than they were a few weeks ago? They have a win. They have a win in the win column. Other than that, are they any better off? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? No. They've given up on Bryce Young. They're going to have a worse draft pick. Andy Dalton is not the future of this team. And so that might make you say, okay, but you said the Colts need to go to Joe Flacco. What's the logic there? Joe Flacco is playing great. Joe Flacco is playing like a guy that could potentially get Indianapolis to the playoffs, God forbid. Because when I look at the landscape of the AFC right now, if the teams win the division that I expect the Chiefs to win their division. I expect the Texans to win the South, unfortunately. I expect the Bills, I guess, to still win the AFC East. And I expect the Ravens to ultimately win the AFC North. So if that happens, you have 3 wildcard teams. I don't know how that shakes out right now because I can't believe in the Jets. I still don't believe in the Steelers to that degree. The Chargers are iffy to me. The Bengals are 1-4. The Browns are terrible. So there's really no standouts in that regard. The Colts with Joe Flacco could be a playoff team. It is not the same thing as Andy Dalton in Carolina or Mason Rudolph in Tennessee. Joe Flacco is visibly, obviously better than Anthony Richardson at this point in time. I'm not saying the Colts should give up on Anthony Richardson, but it'd be hard for me at this point, even though they lost today, it would be hard for me to go back to Anthony Richardson because you got to keep in mind the Colts were without Jonathan Taylor today. So it would be difficult for me to justify that if I were them. Am I missing any games from the early window? Man, my arm's getting tired holding this phone. Am I missing any games from the early window? Trying to think. I think I got them all. I'm watching the late window right now. We got the Rams and the Packers playing. Rams just took the lead. Jordan Love just threw a pick 6. So the Rams are about to be up 14-7. That's something. The Broncos and Raiders are tied 10-10. Seahawks and Giants are playing right now. This is the first week the teams have been on a bye, so you've got less games to watch here. But Arizona and San Francisco, they're playing right now as well. San Francisco's winning 20-10. So most of these games going how I would have thought. Well, I don't know. I mean, I would have thought the Packers beat the Rams, but we got a long way to go. It's just nice to sit here on this bye week and enjoy watching everybody else stress out while I just kind of chill. But I'm mad at Buffalo. You let us down today. These are just my ramblings of what I've seen here today.